We have CBS News Justice Correspondent Scott McFarlane in Washington, D.C. Scott, thanks so much for joining us. A few questions for you today. First off, there have been some protests happening here in Springfield outside Representative Eric Burleson's office, criticizing his support of President Trump's government cuts and future plan cuts to further cut staffing of education, health, and other departments. How are those cuts expected to hold up in federal court, you think?
And it's not just Congressman Burleson, it's the other Republicans in Missouri. It's other House Republicans all across the country getting those protests either outside their offices, the local offices, the ones that are in town, or at their town hall meetings. There are some grave concerns about the size of the cuts at federal agencies, but more to the point, the impact they're going to have on people in communities. If they cut back employees at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, does it mean it's harder to get somebody on the phone? If you have a question about your benefits check or your health care, does it mean the wait times could eventually increase? You're going to have more difficulty getting calls answered about your Social Security check, about back pay if you're a federal worker. These concerns are emerging and they're not going away for the Trump administration. They seem to be bullish on pressing forward with more reductions in force, more cuts and more agencies. The president will release a budget in the coming days. And at this point, Congressman Burleson and other House Republicans and Senate Republicans are behind these DOGE cuts as the protests continue.
Yes, Scott, and another thing that we're seeing repeatedly, and we're not really seeing the president pulling back on this too much so far, is these tariffs. Of course, new tariffs have been announced on auto parts. How do you expect that to actually go into effect next week? And what impact could that have on things like car insurance rates? I mean, we're already seeing a huge impact on the stock market today, right?
Yeah, a pretty lousy Friday on the stock market. And the president has, according to our latest reporting, tried to press the automakers. Don't take this as an opportunity to raise your cost, to raise the price of what you see on a car lot, or indirectly allow insurance rates to rise. But clearly these tariffs are causing jitters on stock markets. And clearly these tariffs hold the prospect, if not the fear, of increasing the prices for a number of things, including automobiles. That is problematic no matter what politics you're engaged in. And Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, the longtime Missouri Democrat, has been pressing the administration on this, making public statements saying people cannot afford things like housing, things like food, things like cars. Raising tariffs only adds more instability. But here's what we can say for sure. The president has wielded this threat of tariffs multiple times since January 20th, and he has on occasion calibrated or dialed back some of what he's about to do. Let's see what he goes forward with on this date he's predetermined, April 2nd, which, though it seems like a long way away, that is Wednesday.
Yeah, that's coming up quick. And I think, Scott, we have time for one more question with you here. The other big headline this week, of course, is the scandal surrounding the Signal messaging app. Democrats calling for an investigation into the incident, the president and his staff maintaining that no classified information was leaked. What do you anticipate happens next here?
There's no indication the Department of Justice or FBI are going to launch an investigation of this. The court system has ordered the administration to hold on to those Signal messages. It says the Trump administration must keep them safe, not delete them, because there's a federal lawsuit against the administration for allegedly violating federal records law. But all that notwithstanding, there is a political problem for the administration because ever since Monday, they've been talking about these Signal messages. That is not the topic they want to be engaged in.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. That was Scott McFarlane with the CBS News Justice Correspondent joining us from the Capitol today.